Welcome back to the channel. I had another question on Inkscape that I thought I might be able to answer here. I hope this helps out, but what this person wants to do is create a jig for a laser machine that can cut and engrave, and they want to engrave on bottle caps and corks, and they want to hold this jig out. The jig has a certain look to it. It has a rectangle with little tabs that stick down that holds everything in place, or maybe a circle with those same tabs to hold the caps in place. So here's what we're going to do. Now, the one thing that I did not do ahead of time is I don't know what the size of these are. So I'm just going to tell you, make this whatever size your cork is, or make it whatever size the bottle cap happens to be. I don't know what they are off the top of my head, and I don't have any nearby, so I can't make that measurement. So we're going to start with the cork. The cork is the easiest one. This one is very simple. You're going to take this little, the rectangle and square tool. You click this, you come over here, and you make your rectangle. This is where we're going to start off to begin with when I say make this whatever size of your cork. We're going to make the cork one first. So choose the select feature here and make it whatever size. You have your height and your width, right? So let's just say, for fun, I don't know what a cork is, but I'm going to say maybe it's an inch tall or an inch thick. So we're going to go 1 inch. Right now I've got this lock right here, which means it's going to keep the same aspect ratio. So if I make it 1 inch tall, it's going to make it the same aspect ratio, so it's going to shrink down the sides as well too. If I take this lock off, now I can change the sides, and it doesn't change my 1 inch. So maybe it's 3 inches wide. Okay, so maybe this is the size of my cork, roughly. It doesn't need to be exact, but pretty dang close. Try to get it as close as possible. But measure out your cork first, and then make your rectangle the size of that cork. Now, this rectangle is going to be where the bottom of those tabs are going to be for each one of these. We're going to do this again. We're going to make another rectangle. This is going to be vertical, and all we care about is that it's a little bit taller than this. Okay? So we know that this was 1 inch tall. Let's go ahead and make this one maybe 1.5 inch. We're going to stick it 1/4 inch more on this side, 1/4 inch more over here. We're going to be good to go. So we'll make this one 1.5 inches tall. Now, here's where we're going to take this. You click on this and you click on this with shift. So if you click on this and then hold down shift and click this, they will both be selected, right? My squares are on both of them. If I'm not holding down shift and I click from here to here, it will deselect this one and only select. So I need to hold down shift, and now I have both. Okay? Now I'm going to go to align and distribute. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. I've already been using this for a while, so I have align and distribute over here on the right hand side. I believe you can also go to is it path? It's not path, object. Very bottom. Align and distribute down here. It's in the object as well. When you click it, all it does is brings it over here to the right side. Okay? So align and distribute. I want the left side of this to be paired up with the left side of this, and I want it to be centered horizontally. So over here, the left side, I want them to be aligned. When I click this button, it moves this piece to align the left side. Now they're there. I also want it to be centered. It's going to bring it down. I'm sorry, centered horizontally. So let's go back. We're going to align the left edges again, and then we're going to center this on the horizontal axis, not the vertical axis. And there we go, right? So now I have this little rectangle. I'm going to make the same rectangle again. We're going to hit duplicate. So that's the same as Control D, or if you go to edit, duplicate, it'll do the same thing. Control D, edit, duplicate. When I click this or hit Control D, I now have another one right on top. You can't even see it, but that's all that's selected right now is my duplicate one. When I drag it, my first one stays there, and here's a new one. I want this one to be on the right side. So we're going to align the right edges. So we're going to click this and this, make sure you click this rectangle second. Don't click it first. If I click this one first, and then I click this one, it'll move the rectangle down to here. And I don't want that. So when I go to align the right edges, my rectangle moved. I want it to still be in line with this though. Okay? So edit, undo, or Control Z will put that rectangle back where it was. Now I'm going to click this first and then this, and now it's going to move my little rectangle instead. I'm going to align it to the right hand side over here. Then I'm going to do the same thing, align it on the horizontal axis, and there we go. I've got one more spot I want to fill in here. Now this one looks like it's going to be a little bit thinner. And to be honest, actually the one I really want thinner, I want these sides to be thinner. So I'm just going to bring this in over here, and we'll just, you know what, we'll call it a width of 1/2 inch. I'll call this one a width of 1/2 inch. And then I'll go back and align it to the same right side over here. And there we go. Now I'm going to put this one in the middle. Okay? We're going to set it up over here somewhere. Again, we only want it to be, as far as the height is concerned, is 1.5 inches. So click this, make it 1.5 inches. It's the same height as these now. Put it somewhere in the middle here. So I'm going to take this and then this. Remember, click your middle, your long rectangle second. I'm going to align it to the middle because I want it to be in the dead center, and I'm going to align it horizontally. Okay. Now, these are going to be your notches. These are going to be your little tabs that stick down. That's going to hold your cork in place. So the question now is, how thick do we want these tabs to be? Do we want it to be kind of thinner? If we do, we're just going to take this. We're going to select out here so that nothing is selected. Click back on this one, and we can extend it out. Now this is going to be kind of neat. If you hold down Shift while you hit extend, it's going to extend both sides out, right? Keeps it in the middle. So now you can look at both sides and see how thick you want this to go. So these tabs look pretty small. I like those. I kind of like that. You're good to go. So from here, all you do is select it all, Path Union. And there you go. This now has it's a cork holder for your jig. You can put your cork right in here in the middle, and these tabs are going to hold it in place, and it still gives you the little spaces so that you can pick it up. Right? You can reach in there that way. So if this is your cork holder, the next one you have is our bottle cap holder. Now this one looked like a circle that had 4 notches, just like these little guys right here, 4 little tabs. This one's going to be a little bit different. Okay, it's going to be different than the way we made this one, but using the same principles. So first, I'm going to use the square, and this is going to be kind of strange. This is for our bottle cap. What's the size of our bottle cap? I would assume it's probably maybe 1 inch by 1 inch, a circle. We're going to use a square to make our 1 inch by 1 inch. So I'm going to hold down, I'm sorry, not this one. I'm going to hold down Control as I make my square, okay? And all I care about right now, I don't really care about the size. I just want it to be a square, a perfect square. So hold Control as you make your square with that same square tool. Choose your select, your arrow over here, and here's where we choose our size. So we want this to be a 1 by 1 square, because that's how big a bottle cap is. I don't know, maybe it's a 1.5 or 1 1/4 or whatever it might be. Measure out your bottle cap and then make this square about the same size. It could be slightly larger if you want to. It doesn't have to be like dead on, but you want to make it pretty close to the same size. So we're going to say maybe it's a 1 by 1. I'm going to put this lock back on right here, because when I change the width, I want it to change the height at the same time. So let's make it a 1 by 1. It's 1 inch by 1 inch. So there's where my bottle cap is going to fit. What this is kind of like over here. It's like that middle rectangle. It's the bottom of those tabs, right? This is where the bottom of those tabs are going to be. There's going to be one here, 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 and here. But now we have to get our circle that goes around it. So choose the circle tool. Do the same thing. Hold down Control, and you're going to make your little circle. We don't really care how big we make this right now. We'll adjust it, but right now we just want a circle and we want it to be a perfect circle. So hold down Control, make your circle. Now we have that. Okay. Now with this circle, what we're going to do is we're going to choose what size we want this to be. So I would center it over our square. So we're going to select both, right? Select this one first, then select our square. Come over to Align and Distribute. We're going to choose Align on the center on the vertical axis here. And then we're going to do it one more time on the horizontal. Okay? We're going to click off of everything. We don't care about it anymore. But now here's where we can come up with our size. Choose this thing, hold down the Control button. I'm sorry, not Control. Hold down our Shift button, and you can shrink it down wherever you want it to be. Okay? It doesn't have to touch the corners, but you probably want it to be about as close to those corners as you can. Don't let it overlap. Don't let it touch too much, or else it's going to draw us off in here a little bit. All right. So from here, there's one more thing we need to do. We need to split the circle up. To do that, you just draw a line. So I'm going to take this one. It's called our Bezier curves. And again, I'm using version 1.2 for Inkscape. It's the most recent version that's out there. Whatever version you have, the images over here to the left might look a little bit different. You can upgrade if you want to, or just run with it. It's if you hover over it, it's called the Bezier tool. Okay. What you're going to do is just draw a line. It doesn't matter, but hold Control as you do it. So you click once, and then you can move your mouse anywhere, and the line will just be here, right? But you want to hold the Control button down, and now it's only going to put you at 15-degree intervals. Okay, and I want a completely horizontal line, and I just need it to be a little bit wider than that circle. So once you get to this point, while holding Control, double-click that corner, or double-click the mouse right there. When you double-click, it creates your line. We're done with that line now. If I hit the select over here, here's my line. I want 2 of these. So remember when we went to Edit and Duplicate? You can do that, or you can hit Control-D, whichever one you want. I like Control-D. So if I hit Control-D, you can't tell that anything happened. I just did it, and you can't tell, but now I can drag it away, and now we have 2 lines. Okay? The reason I want 2 of these is I want one of them to be vertical, and I want the other one to be horizontal. This one's already horizontal. Let's make this vertical. All you do is while it looks like this, you got all these arrows that are pointing out and away from everything. This is how I would make it bigger, smaller, and whatever. Click it again. Just click. Don't drag, and click somewhere in the middle over here. Just click it once. Now they all turn in, right? That's what you want, because this is how you're going to rotate your line. Put your mouse over one of these, hold down the Control button, just like we have been, and click and turn it. It gives us a turn in our 15-degree intervals, right? So now I want a vertical line. So my vertical line is right here. Let go of the mouse and then let go of Control. Don't do it the other way around. You might be a little bit off. Okay, let go of the mouse, then Control. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this line, and I'm going to put it over this circle. I want it to be dead center, horizontal, right? So I'm going to put right here, center on the horizontal axis. And all I care about is that the line crosses the circle all the way. It doesn't have to be completely vertical or completely centered on the vertical axis, but it does need to be crossing all the way over the circle. Do the same thing with this one. Now, you're actually going to need a third line here in a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and make one more vertical line. Control-D. I'm going to set it aside. Okay? So now we're going to take one of these, it doesn't matter which one, we're going to center it over the circle. Remember, the circle one is the second time. Click this first, then the circle, center on the vertical axis. So now I've got a crosshair that goes right down the middle of my circle. Click on one of the lines, not both of them. Here's what happens if you do both. Click on both lines by holding Shift as you click on these, and it selects them both, plus the circle. What we're going to do is path and difference. But when I do it after selecting both lines, this is what happens. It kind of just gets everything away, and it doesn't accomplish what we were trying to do. Control Z, which is undo. I'm going to choose my circle in my line, path, difference. I'm sorry, division is what I need, not difference. I apologize. So here's what happens if you do both. 2 lines in the circle, path, division. It gets rid of all of it. You don't want that. Control Z. What you do want is 1 line in the circle, path, division. What it did is it cut that circle in half. Right? Control Z to put it back where I got it. I'm going to do the same thing, only this time I can't choose both of those halves. If I try, here's what happens. Path, division. It deletes 1 half. And we don't want that. Control Z, get rid of it. I'm going to choose 1 half. Path, division. It cut that one in half. I need another vertical or horizontal line. So control, rotate it horizontally. Put that in the center of the one I want to cut. So with this one selected, I'm going to also select my circle with shift, or my semicircle now with shift. Set it up horizontally and vertically. It doesn't matter about that part, it just has to cross. And we now have this line crossing right in the middle of this, which is okay. So take this and this, path, division. There it goes. Now, this circle is in 4 parts. I can take just one piece of this pie and move it. Okay? So here's what I need though. I need a little bit of a break between here. How big do we need it? I don't know. Let's say we want a 1/4 inch a gap, right? So let's take all of it, and just to make math a little bit easier, we're going to move the x-axis to the 7. Okay? All this does is makes it so I don't have to break out a calculator. So we're going to take the x-axis to the 7. Now we're going to take just these left sides here. I'm going to move it a 1/4 inch to my left. 6.75. Now there's a gap of a 1/4 inch right here. This is going to be a tab, right? Let's do it one more time. I'm going to take it, and let's say I want, do all of it again, and let's move the y-axis to 16. Okay, just to make math easy. Now I just need this one and this one. And I'm going to take my gap, and we're going to make it 15.75. We're going to move it a 1/4 inch up. Let go, and now I've got a 1/4 inch. So I've got a 1/4 inch here, 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 and here. And what I'm going to need is this little square that's in the middle here. I can't get it. The square. Let's zoom in. I can get it better if I zoom in. The square needs to be centered in all of this, right? And then remember, the square is the size of our bottle cap. So the square needs to be centered in all of these. So the way I do this is I'm actually going to take the circle first, shift click all of those, then my square. And I want to make sure this right here, move align selection as a group, it needs to be checked. It has to be checked. If it is not checked, here's what happens. I'm going to center it to my square vertically and horizontally. It looks kind of neat, but it's not what I want. Control Z, Control Z. What I need to do is click this right here, move align section as a group. I'm already selected, and my square was selected last. And when you do that, it's going to make everything align with my square. Now I'm going to do the same thing, vertically, horizontally. My square is dead center. And now we're going to do the same thing we did with this cork. Select the whole thing, path, union. And now you have a circle that has 1/4 inch tabs that will hold your bottle cap in place. Right here. So I hope this helps. Now from here, you're going to make a jig, right? So you're going to want multiple circles. So you just make Control D, Now you got another one. Control D again. Now you got another one, right? And you're going to set all these up however you want. Now I need some more corks, so Control D, and I need another one, so come over here, Control D, and now I got some more. And you just make your jig that will hold all of these in place. You'll notice that the line here, it's called a stroke, that stroke is thicker than the one over here. If you want them to match, go for it. All you're going to do is change the stroke. Fill and stroke right here. And stroke style is the tab you want. There's paint, there's fill, there's stroke style. This one is the cork says that it's 0.025 inches. So if you want to make this 0.25 inches, you can do that. It really doesn't matter. It's just for aesthetics. If you want it to look the same on your file, go for it. Go ahead and make it the same, 0.025. I do. I like it this way, but your laser is going to cut these, and when it cuts it, it's going to go to the middle of the line anyway. It's still going to be a really thin line. You can make these things as thick as you want, and when it's cut, it still goes right to the center of this line, and that's all that matters. So again, it's just for aesthetics. It'll look the same if you make it this way. You have your bottle cap here. You have your cork over here. Just organize it the way you want it to look, and then you're going to cut this out. And when you cut them out, you'll have your holes to place your bottle caps and your corks, and you're good to go. So remember, I don't know the size of a cork, so measure out your rectangle for the size of your cork. Measure out your square that was in here for the size of your bottle cap, and then you can do whatever you like with the rest of it. The other sizes really don't matter. It's just how much finger length you're going to need whenever you're going to pick something up or place it in there. I hope this helps. If it doesn't, reach out to me. Let me know. I'd be happy to try to explain it again. But this should take care of everything that you need. I appreciate it. Thanks so much.